Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by Sanderson Ford. Fans filing into Chase Field here in downtown Phoenix. Rubber game of a three-game set with the New York Mets. And look who's in town. It's Matt Davidson, fresh off the plane from Reno and ready for his major league debut perhaps today. He arrived just about an hour ago, ready for first pitch. He is not in the starting lineup tonight. Good afternoon from Chase Field and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume and Bob Brenly along the way. We wish, of course, Bob, that Matt was here under better circumstances. But Eric Chavez is out now with a left knee strain, so Chavez goes to the DL. Davidson is here to replace him, and this breaks up that 3-4 combo with Paul Goldschmidt, the lineup that's been so effective.
You even throw Aaron Hill in the 5 spot, and we've talked about it over the last couple weeks, what a challenge that is for an opposing manager when you've got right, left, right in the middle, guys doing damage, and Paul Goldschmidt certainly is going to miss Eric Chavez hitting behind him in the order. The good news is Cody Ross and Martin Prado have picked it up lately. Hopefully they'll be able to pick up the Eric Chavez slack.
Oh, the transactions column has been very busy here. It started last night when David Hernandez was sent to Reno.
Yeah, unfortunately, a move that needed to be made. David Hernandez was really not doing himself or the team any good up here, struggling the way he was in the bullpen. Hopefully he'll go down to Reno, get his thing straightened out. Yuri De La Rosa did a nice job in a very short sample size with his stint at the big league level. Hopefully having that extra lefty in the bullpen will help Kirk Gibson.
And there is the 22-year-old Matt Davidson in a major league dugout for the first time in his career. First pitch coming up from Chase Field. That's next on Fox Sports Arizona. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball presented by Sanderson Ford. The D-backs in their Sunday Sedona red. And out on the field here at Chase Field, rubber game of a 3-game set between the D-backs and the New York Mets. First, though, we pause to honor America. Now the voice of Chase Field, here's Mr. Chuck Draco.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we ask that you please rise and please remove your hats. Please direct your attention to the field as we honor the United States of America and pay tribute to our veterans, active duty, and retired men and women of our armed services. The Arizona Diamondbacks and the New York Mets invite you to join in the singing of the Star-Spangled Banner, performed by Jessica Thomas.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Back with you for the rubber game of this 3-game set. The Diamondbacks and the New York Mets. The D-backs chasing the Dodgers in the NL West and the Reds in the NL Wild Card. And first dealing with the Terry Collins New York Mets here. who won the game last night, beating Brandon McCarthy behind their rookie Zach Wheeler. And this is the Met batting order. This is not exactly BB Murderer's Row.
Not exactly. No David Wright. He's on the disabled list. No Marlon Byrd, just getting a day off. So it's going to be Eric Young, Juan Lagares, Daniel Murphy at the top, Ike Davis, Wilmer Flores, and Mike Baxter getting his first start of the series. In the middle, Anthony Recker, Omar Quintanilla, and Jonathan Neese, the pitcher, at the bottom of the order.
Zeke Spruill, 23-year-old right-hander from Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. Second-round pick by the Braves in the '08 draft. This is just his second major league start and his 6th appearance. He's on there against Eric Young Jr., who takes a strike to lead it off. Zeke Spruill acquired by the Diamondbacks in that big offseason deal with Atlanta. Second-round pick. Made his first big league start August 1st. That was the makeup game at Texas. And Bob, in that game, he made 3 mistakes to 3 left-hand hitters, all for home runs. That one's popped up very shallow left field. Cliff Pennington calls off Cody Ross. And I'm guessing that this is what Zeke would like to avoid here today.
Occasionally at the minor league level, you can make mistakes and get away with them. But against some professional big league hitters, 3 lefties took advantage. Not horrible pitches. 1 down and away, 1 down and in. That one center cut in the middle of the plate, but all of them left the yard.
And the ball flies out of the yard in Texas, especially out to right field. So it's a left-hand power hitter's paradise. And Zeke Spruill was on the back end of that. Of course, he's reunited here with his Reno battery mate, Tuffy Gozawish, who's getting his 3rd start in the big leagues.
Hopefully giving Zeke a little level of comfort out there on the mound.
Juan Lagares has a 1-out single. Defensively, Diamondbacks to look as follows. Cliff Pennington back out there at shortstop, and Gozawish behind the plate.
Yeah, we'll go Ross, Pollock, and Parr left to right across the outfield. Prado and Pennington on the left side of the infield. Hill and Goldschmidt on the right side. Tuffy Gozawish behind the plate today for right-hander Zeke Spruill.
Big deal for Tuffy Gozawish here. His 3rd big league start, but his first on his home field, a Valley native. Daniel Murphy. There's a strike, 0-1. Murphy 277, 9 home runs. He's 2 for 8 in the series so far. He was hitless last night. Prior to the start in Texas, we had seen Zeke Spruill with the D-backs, all in relief appearances though, but this is the role he's accustomed to. He made 12 appearances for AAA Reno this year, all starts, a record of 4-3, an ERA at 3.24.
You mentioned he went to Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. The Braves, and I said this earlier this year, for my money, they're the best organization at following players in their own state, drafting, developing, and bringing them up to the major leagues. At one time, I think they had 11 players on their 25-man roster. This is several years ago, all from in or around the Atlanta area.
Good baseball weather down there, and a good pool of talent from which to choose. And they take full advantage. 2-1 to Daniel Murphy. Lagares off first.
There you see Zeke Spruill's arsenal, a 2-seam sinking fastball, a 4-seamer that he'll elevate in the zone, relies heavily on that slider. He does have a curveball that he uses sparingly, but it's mostly going to be a fastball slider combination from the right-hander.
That one is rolled to short. Can they turn this here? Pennington. Hill has no play. Lagares does a good job busting up that double play. And Murphy's aboard at first. Wasn't hit all that hard anyway.
Well, that's how double plays get started, on a hard hit ball. This one just kind of dribbles out there on the left side of the infield. By the time Cliff Pennington gets the ball to Aaron Hill, Lagares is right on top of him. Nowhere for Aaron Hill to go, but out of the way.
It's a big day for former Sun Devils here. Tuffy Gozawish behind the plate. And Ike Davis in the left-hand batter's box.
Boy, and all of that left-handed batter's box. He is about as spread out as any hitter we've seen. The left foot on the back line, the front foot very close to the front line of that batter's box. Really a spread out stance.
He's got a big wingspan at 6'4", 230. And then he'll sort of crouch down in there and exaggerate it. Ike was on base 4 times last night. A single, a double, a pair of walks. He scored a run.
Well, sometimes when you see batters with that wide spread stance, it's because they've had some timing issues either with the leg kick or the stride with their front foot. So to try to eliminate that, they go ahead and widen out their stance and then just have a little bit of a weight shift from the back foot onto the front foot.
He looks a little bit here, Bob, like a left-handed Jeff Bagwell.
Bagwell looked like he was sitting on a stool in that right-handed batter's box. He was in such an exaggerated low crouch. Ike Davis not quite that low, but very close.
4-pitch walk to Ike Davis. So it's 2 on, 2 outs for Wilmer Flores.
Third baseman, number 4, Wilmer Flores.
And Wilmer Flores had a big day yesterday. This is a big week for Wilmer. His first week in the big leagues, just turned 22.
Yeah, they like him a lot. They think he's a big part of the Mets' future. Had a couple of singles in the game last night. Drove in 3 runs.
He's had a good series. On Friday, he drove in the game-tying run in the 8th inning. This was Wilmer last night.
Seemed innocent enough at the time, just a ground ball. It happened to find the hole on the left side of the infield and snuck through for a couple of runs driven in.
Well, Terry Collins says Wilmer Flores can hit, and that's why the Mets are going to find a spot for him to play. Paul DePodesta is the Mets VP of Player Development and Scouting, and he was asked where Flores plays at the major league level. And DePodesta sort of joked, well, he plays hitting somewhere in an RBI spot. They love the bat, but defensively, it's still an issue. It's an open question. Talking to some of the Met broadcasters, they said that Flores, who played shortstop at the low levels in the minors, and they knew he wouldn't last there long term, but his biggest issue seems to be when he's on the ground defensively, getting back up, which is tough if you're going to play on that left side of the infield. Just foul there. That's Mike Winters at third base.
Well, we've talked a lot about the Pacific Coast League and how it's very much an offense-oriented league, and Wilmer Flores took full advantage of it. He was called up on August 6th, but while he was down there in the Coast League, 36 doubles, which was second in the league, 86 runs driven in, which was first in the league at that time, and was slugging well over 500.
.320 with 15 home runs at Las Vegas. Three and two. Daniel Murphy on second, Ike Davis on first. Runners will be off with a pitch here. Mike Baxter is on deck. There go the runners. That's ball 4. Laz Diaz is the plate umpire. Kirk Gibson. This is unusual.
Well, after getting the double play ball, 2 outs, nobody on base. Well, the potential double play ball, he had 2 outs, runner at first, and then the walk to Ike Davis. Now another walk. Maybe he doesn't want to see that. Take a look behind you. You got one of the best defenses in all of baseball playing behind you. They can put the ball in play.
You think this is because this is a kid in just his second big league start that Gibby goes and does this and not Charles Nagy?
I'm sure it carries a little more impact when the skipper comes out in the first inning to talk to you. If it were a mechanical issue, I think you would have seen Charles Nagy out there. But this was more of perhaps a quick motivational speech, maybe something just to ease the tension out there a little bit and get him back in that strike zone.
So a pair of 2-out walks here has loaded the bases for Mike Baxter. Daniel Murphy's on third, Ike Davis on second, and Wilmer Flores on first. And Sproul will work to the left-hander, Mike Baxter. Baxter at 202 on the season. He was 0 for 2 in Friday's series opener.
Not only a close eye on the ball game here today, but we're going to keep an eye on the Reno Aces against the Memphis Redbirds today. Trevor Cahill making a rehab start down there for the Aces. Gave up a leadoff hit and then got a double play ball to escape the first inning.
Rolled to first. That's a fair ball, and it gets through Goldschmidt. Murphy scores. Davis will score 2. They will wave in Flores all the way from third. And it's 3-0 Mets. He got the ground ball he was looking for, but it went up the right field line.
Catcher number 20, Anthony Recker.
Just a misplay by Paul Goldschmidt, a rare misplay by Paul Goldschmidt. Looked like he got over there in good shape to smother that short hop. You could see he was in foul territory, but the ball was in fair territory when it crossed the bag at first. And as it rolled down that right field line, the Mets were able to clear the bases.
E3, error on the first baseman. All 3 runs score. And quickly Zeke Sproul in a 3-0 hole. He'll face the catcher Anthony Recker. Record 168. He does have some pop. The Diamondbacks have seen that. 5 home runs on the year. Zeke Sproul here in his second big league start will have to find a way to recover, get out of this inning, and move forward down 3-0. One and two.
I just speculated that perhaps some of Gibby's meeting with Zeke Sproul was take a look at the defense behind you, and then he gives up a ground ball, and Paul Goldschmidt commits a rare error.
The best laid plans.
Yeah.
One and two. Off the glove of Prado at third. Baxter will come in and score. It rolls all the way out to left field. And Recker is in at second. It's 4-0 New York. Corner infield defense of the Diamondbacks biting Zeke Sproul.
That ball was hit like a bullet down to Martin Prado at third base, but it looked like a ball he should have made a play on. We'll get another look here. Yeah, that's just a line drive. I thought maybe it short hopped Martin Prado, but it actually hits him on the heel of the glove and scoots into left field. Just kind of misjudged that ball with his glove. I mentioned it was hit extremely hard.
That's a double and an RBI. Josh Colmenter is warming. 8th man in this inning, Omar Quintanilla, the shortstop. Well, nobody said they were going to win by shutout.
And you've heard me say it a million times. You never take an opposing team for granted, regardless of what their lineup looks like on a given day. And this is a perfect example of why you don't. I mean, this is not the Mets lineup they envisioned coming out of spring training. Their Sunday day game after a night game lineup, but hey, these guys are trying to make a living too.
They have scored 4 runs on only 2 hits. 2 walks and an error. 1-1 to Quintanilla. And this is just about to turn into a 30-pitch first inning for Zeke Sproul. There was a runner on first with 2 outs, 2 walks, an error, and a double, and it's 4-0.
It has been 9 days since Zeke Sproul last started a ball game. Now, he did throw side sessions, hopefully to try to stay sharp with his stuff, but you have to wonder if that long layoff has affected him here in this first inning.
Recker will retie the shoes. Diamondbacks behind the Reds right now for the second NL wild card. Reds were facing Ian Kennedy and the Padres in Cincinnati. That game is 2-2 in the 11th inning. Dodgers host the Rays later tonight. Ian Kennedy at one point in that game had retired 16 straight, but then gave up a big 2-run homer to Xavier Paul, and they are still tied in Cincinnati. The West in the wild card. Two and 2 to Omar Quintanilla. And again, we'll step out. Quintanilla 0 for 4 last night, couple of strikeouts. Up the middle, Clint Pennington charges it, fields it behind the bag, and that finally is the end of the inning. But the Mets get 4 to take a 4-0 lead. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. Martin Prado batting second in the order and having a big homestand. Diamondbacks down 4-0.
Humor, but the Diamondbacks banged out 11 hits in the ball game last night, could only score 1 run. The Mets had 2 hits in the first inning and scored 4. Come on.
This is the lineup for the Diamondbacks today on the Sunday Sedona Red.
Yeah, Pollock, Prado, Goldschmidt at the top, Hill, Ross, Parr in the middle, Gosewish, Pennington, and Sproul at the bottom.
15th start of the season for Met left-hander Jonathan Nice out of Defiance, Ohio, a 7th round pick by the Mets in the '05 draft. This is his first start since June 20th. He is just off the DL after lingering neck and shoulder problems. Also had a small rotator cuff tear. He'll face Pollock, Prado, and Goldschmidt here in the first. 4-0 Mets.
It'll be interesting to see. We watched Brandon McCarthy make his first start after a lengthy stint on the disabled list, and was really good early and then hit the wall as the adrenaline ran out. We'll see if the same thing holds true for Jonathan Nice.
Well, Nice was originally diagnosed with a partial tear of his rotator cuff. He was yanked out of a game in Atlanta on June 20th. Felt a flash of pain, went on the DL. They had to shut him down. MRI showed a minor tear. And the doctors looked at it. They actually said not that big a deal, just kind of normal wear and tear on the shoulder. And Nice says now he is pain free, has a full range of motion, back on the mound for the first time in almost 2 months. AJ in there at 249 and 6 home runs. Up the middle over the glove of Nice, and the Mets have no play. Pollock beats it out. Leadoff man on for the Diamondbacks. Murphy and Quintanilla almost collided out there behind the mound.
Once that ball got over Jonathan Nice's head, it was going to be problems for either Met infielder. Quintanilla probably had the better angle and the better chance to get Pollock, but Murphy cuts in front. His throw not in time.
Tell you what, considering where he was and he got himself all tangled up, Murphy threw that one on a rope right on line. Ranging well over to the shortstop side of the second base bag. So leadoff man on. Here is the red hot Martin Prado. 8 stolen bases for AJ Pollock this year. He's been caught 3 times, but the Diamondbacks down 4-0. Already needing base runners. Prado at 275 and 10 homers. He had 2 more hits last night. Boy, he is almost Wade Boggs-like in the way that he is looking at that first pitch no matter what.
You get the feeling that at some point in a key juncture of a ball game, he'll go up there and ambush somebody on that first pitch. But for the most part, he's content to get a real good look at that first one, even if it's a fastball right down the middle.
He might have pigeons landing on his head for the first pitch. He's like a statue up there. Boy, look at where Nice is on that rubber. Prado lifts it in the air to the right field side. Baxter near the line and foul ground. He's got it one away. Here's Goldie.
Now batting, first baseman, number 44, Paul Goldschmidt.
Leading the National League in RBIs, tied with Pedro Alvarez for the league lead in home runs. That was the call Friday on the walk-off. MV Paul, that's nice work. You get the feeling that if Nice could, he would pitch from the third base coach's box. He is way over there.
Well, he throws a sinking fastball, a cut fastball, and an occasional curve. I think maybe he's just trying to get an angle on those righties to cut that ball in on their hands, and figures if I get as far over on that third base side as I can, I'm already starting on the inside part of the plate.
Nice scoop there by Recker behind the plate. This is the arsenal here for the Met left-hander.
Mostly two-seamer cutter. He'll mix in an occasional four-seamer when he's ahead in the count, trying to elevate that fastball. Has a pretty good curveball. Occasionally you can see it. He has an unusual grip on that curve. The index finger kind of comes up off the baseball.
Driven right to Baxter and right. Still backing up at the track. He's got it for the second out. Well, Nice said he didn't feel any discomfort in 3 minor league rehab starts. The last time out for him was Tuesday for AA Binghamton. He worked 5 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits, and threw 87 pitches. So he should be on a relatively short leash today. Aaron Hill. And the hits for Aaron Hill have come in bunches. He's collecting them 2 at a time these days. 2 more hits last night, including a 6th home run. And now with the loss of Eric Chavez, Bob, it looks like Aaron Hill is a good bet for the cleanup spot.
Yeah, you would certainly think so.
That one is pulled down the line in left. EY Jr. won't get there. They'll wave A.J. Pollock. He will score. Aaron Hill stops at second with his 17th double, and the Diamondbacks are on the board. I know this is going to come as a shock, Bob, but Aaron Hill just pulled the ball.
Really? This continues to amaze me how many times in a series. I mean, we're in game 3 of this series against the Mets, and everything Aaron Hill has hit hard in this series has been right down the stripe, down that third baseline. And this one, no exception. Short hops the wall out there in front of his teammates in the D-backs bullpen. And good to see the Diamondbacks answer.
So the chipping away process has begun. It's a 4-1 ball game. Hill on second for Cody Ross. Oh, 0-1. 278, 8 home runs, and just under 40 RBIs for Cody. He's got 3 hits in the series so far, including a pair of doubles. If you're just joining us, Mets got 4 in the first, a pair of 2-out walks for Zeke Sproul. Mike Baxter hit a ball that went off the glove of Paul Goldschmidt up the line to score 3 runs. That one is in the glove of Flores at third. Just scoops it up, and that's the final out. Diamondbacks strand 1, but they get 1, and now Cody Ross is down. Mike Davis calling for the trainer. Well before he got to the bag, and then tripped over the bag, grabbing his hip right there.
Looked like he possibly overextended after the trip to try to catch himself. Took the brunt of it up there on the right hip.
And the Diamondbacks, who've already lost one of their hottest hitters, Eric Chavez, maybe without Cody Ross here, who's hitting better than .350 since the break. After this, we'll be back. Going up the line, but Bob, where he may have injured himself, and we stress may is when he hit that first base bag after tripping.
Yeah, he had the trip, and then in an effort to regain his balance, he really extends that right leg out there toward the bag right there. And it just did not look good at all. Cody is in obvious pain, waiting to get a stretcher out there to help get him off the field. The trainers, Ken Crenshaw and Ryan DePanflo, out there with him. Just don't think it's prudent to try to get him up on his feet at this point.
Saw both Cody and Met first baseman Ike Davis signaling to either dugout for a trainer, and they're going to be very careful in getting Cody off the field here. It looked like he looked up and spoke to Ike, saying, I can't move, I can't get up. And here comes the vehicle now, and he'll take care of Cody Ross. Boy, they just had to put Eric Chavez on the DL with a left knee strain, and you're talking about Cody Ross here, who's hit better than .320 for the last 6 weeks. 13 RBIs in his last 17 games. To lose Chavez and Ross in one 12-hour period is a lot to swallow.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and hope that it looked worse than it really is, but at this point you have to wonder how long this injury is going to take for Cody Ross to get healthy, get rehabilitated, and get back on the field.
So in the meantime, as they address Cody, we'll try and figure out how the Diamondbacks will solve the issue just for the rest of this ball game. And Matt Davidson, who arrived about an hour beforehand from Reno, is in there and taking some grounders at third. So it looks like Martin Prado will shift to the outfield. And that, of course, is secondary right now to the condition and the latest on Cody Ross. And when we do have some information, we'll pass it along to you. You can see Will Nieves there just shaking his head, and that has to be the feeling for the entire dugout.
I mean, it goes without saying, injuries are a big part of this game. You can't play a 6-month season, 162 games, without suffering some injuries. But and there's never a good time for an injury. But with Eric Chavez, as you mentioned, going on the disabled list earlier today, they can ill afford to lose any more of their offensive players.
Cody had been hitting better than .350 since the All-Star break. He'd been driving in runs and bunches. Ironically healthy for the first time and really all year long after battling foot and calf issues throughout the spring and the early portions of the season. Now he leaves on a cart. Defensively now, Matt Davidson will make his major league debut right here at third base. He'll take over at third. Martin Prado will replace Cody Ross in left field.
First taste of the big leagues for Davidson, 22-year-old, wearing number 24. He was a supplemental first-round pick back in the '09 draft. Entered this season as the Diamondbacks' number 4 overall prospect, and was cited by Baseball America as the best power hitter in the D-backs farm system. Was hitting .278 down in Reno with 31 doubles, 16 homers, and 68 runs driven in.
Matt Davidson was pulled out of the game in Reno last night in the 5th inning. Imagine what he's been through here. He just arrived at the ballpark 30 minutes before first pitch. He got here at 12:30 this afternoon off the flight from Reno along with Yuri De La Rosa. And now suddenly he's in at third base in a big league game for the first time in his life. And sure enough, one goes right by him. Base hit for Nice to lead off the Mets second. This was about 12:30 this afternoon. Matt Davidson arriving at Chase Field.
Left fielder Eric Young Jr.
Been doing a great job, as Bob mentioned, to AAA Reno. 31 doubles, 16 homers, 68 RBIs. Of course, he was the MVP of the Futures game at All-Star Weekend at Citi Field in New York. And coincidentally making his big league debut at Chase Field against the Mets.
Yeah, he had a big All-Star week, not only MVP of the Futures game, but then went to Reno to play in the Coast League All-Star game and won the home run derby there.
Eric Young Jr. seeks Sproul. Little flip. They get EY at first. Nice moves up 93. This was the highlight of Matt Davidson's summer. His home run in the Futures game at Citi Field.
Center fielder Juan Lagares.
Well, it's a highlight so far. Hopefully this is just one of many. He's going to get a chance to play a little bit here at the major league level. That had to be a ginormous thrill for him, though. Playing with the best of the best. A handshake from Hall of Famer Frank Robinson as he received his award for the MVP.
The numbers at AAA for Matt Davidson this year. 22 years old. He just turned 22 in March. Juan Lagares singled his first time up. So De La Rosa comes here to replace Hernandez on the roster in the bullpen, of course, and Davidson is here to replace Chavez. And now Cody Ross is left with an injury. 2-0. Reds and Padres still going. They're now in the top of the 12th. 2-2 in that ball game. Great American Ballpark. Padres have 2 on and 2 out. Rays and Dodgers later tonight at Dodger Stadium. That's the Sunday night game. Jeremy Hellickson versus Clayton Kershaw. You can see on the top there the Padre Red score, 12th inning. Ian Kennedy at one point this afternoon retired 16 straight. 2-2.
And we said we'd keep you abreast of Trevor Cahill's outing in Reno today. Through 3 innings, he's given up 4 hits and a couple of runs. One of those a solo homer. He's walked 2. And the Aces yet to get on the board. They trail Memphis 2-0.
Bring him up. First strikeout for Zeke Sproul. 2 down.
Second baseman Daniel Murphy.
Zeke Sproul is not a strikeout guy by any means. He lives on ground ball outs. But he can occasionally sneak a 2-seam fastball in or away on you. He'll work now to Daniel Murphy. Murphy reached on a fielder's choice and scored in the first.
Boy, with no David Wright, no Marlon Byrd in the lineup today, at least just looking up and down this Mets lineup, Daniel Murphy and Ike Davis, the 2 guys in the middle, probably the 2 guys that scare you the most.
Murphy hitting over 300 since the All-Star break. And he's been a valuable offensive piece here. He hit 320 2 years ago. Last season over 290 with 40 doubles. Mike Davis is on deck. Popped him up, shallow center field. Cliff Pennington underneath. They strand the leadoff single. Bottom 2 coming up. Diamondbacks down 4-1.
reducing a 3-run deficit to the Mets. We have some activity here at the pool because of the words of Steve Berthiaume back in April. Steve, you called out this particular group of gentlemen for not having enough female-friendly fans along with them here poolside, so they decided to make some fat heads, or big heads if you will, and one of them is of yours truly. Your reaction, Steve?
Well, I'll go on record as saying last time they were out there, there were no women in sight, and that apparently is the case again today.
Well, for more, let me introduce the mastermind behind this process. It is Josh Wine. Josh, Steve says you still don't have any women visible in the shot, so...
But we got the only one that matters. There was only one that we wanted, and we got her, Steve.
Nice work.
That's a nice recovery there.
Right here.
Quickly tell me the story behind these big heads.
Well, it was late in the game, we'll say the 8th inning. We're getting a little rambunctious, and all the girls that we were with last time got scared out of the pool through. And so Steve caught us out and said, where are all the women at? So there was only one that we really wanted. So we thought, why not make a giant head attract her here? We got her here, Steve. Through.
Now,
all right, and with that, we'll give it a go, D-backs, and send it back up to you.
my only concern is, do we have to now put that in the living room somewhere at home? Is that coming home with us? Gerardo Parra, it hit him. Nice bunt by Parra, but he ran into it for the first out.
Yeah, good idea trying to take that bunt with him to the first base side. Bounces it down into the dirt. Actually hit him twice. Looked like it caught him in the hand just as he exited that batter's box, and then hit him in the lower body as he started his trip down that first baseline.
All right, from Little League in the Valley to Horizon High School to Arizona State, Tuffy Gozawish here at Chase Field. His 3rd big league start. Tuffy so far a pair of 1-for-3s in his first 2 major league starts after 9 years in the minor leagues. His big league debut this month, a 29-year-old rookie. Up the middle, and Tuffy Gozawish has a base hit. His 30th birthday coming up on Saturday, and Tuffy is on board.
Well, his brief stint up here at the major league level, Tuffy's played with a lot of energy, no exception today, and why not? Getting an opportunity to play at the big league level after that long, long road through the minor leagues, you might as well smile.
Gozawish on first, 1 out, Cliff Pennington. Cliff 239. He was 1-for-4 last night. Oh, Steve Sachs. Saxy.
Oh, just a little too casual there.
Yeah,
Tried to make the one-handed play. Got away from him.
He's still trying to shake that one off. 0-2. Now, Bob, what happens if you win the Legends vote? And I mean, Cindy has a likeness of herself out there. We could see 42 feet worth of Bob Brenly across from the ballpark here soon.
That's a scary thought. Just focus on the trophy. That's all. Just focus on the trophy. That's the most important part of the picture.
High chopper to Flores at third. That's the second out. Gozawish moves up to second base. And fans, as we were speaking about, the Diamondbacks and Fox Sports Arizona teaming up to select the next D-backs legend to be honored at the Legends Entertainment District here in downtown Phoenix. And you can vote now. FoxSportsArizona.com/D-backs-legend. Your candidates are Bob Brenly, Steve Finley, Matt Williams, or Kurt Schilling. And then watch the pregame show August 31st for the unveiling of the newest 42-foot super graphic right across from Chase Field. And our own Bob Brenly is in the Final Four. A big head in the pool, that's one thing. 42 feet high across from the ballpark, that's big league.
Well, certainly Kurt Schilling deserves some recognition for his contributions to this organization. Matt Williams for his body of work, both as a player and now as a coach. Steve Finley, for my money, one of the most underrated center fielders in the game during his era. Tell you what, he was as steady, covered as much ground, accurate thrower, streaky hitter. He'd get hot and cold at the plate, but defensively there were none better until Andrew Jones came along.
Zeke Sproul looks at strike 3. They strand Gosowicz at second. We're through 2. It's 4-1 Mets.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to get a big round of applause to Megan, our Sanderson Ford kid. She's here with her family.
Trailing the Mets 4-1 here. As soon as we get news on Cody Ross's injury, we will, of course, pass it along to you. In the meantime, it is a Sanderson Ford Fox Sports Arizona Kidcaster Sunday. And here from Madison Park Middle School is Megan Tarango, about to make her TV debut. Welcome. You're on.
Hi.
There's your camera right there. How's it feel?
Crazy.
Crazy?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your day so far.
It's been really fun.
What'd you do?
Got to meet my favorite player.
Who's that?
Wade Miley.
Oh, he's pretty funny, isn't he?
Yeah.
What'd you ask him?
If you could change anything in baseball, what would it be?
What did he say?
He said that he would like switch everything around and he could be third base, be first base, and
that sounds about right, actually.
Yeah.
and then he said he'll play shortstop.
He wants to move third base to first base?
Yeah.
All right.
And then first base to third base. I mean, yeah.
I'm sure he has his reasons. So now, why do you want to be a Sanderson Ford Fox Sports Arizona Kidcaster? Is this part of the future here?
Yeah. I saw it on TV and I thought it would be really cool, be a fun experience to be Fox Sports Arizona Kidcaster.
And you get to meet Bob Brenly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as much fun as meeting Wade Miley, but that's all right.
Now, have you ever done play-by-play before?
No.
You practice at home, talking to a spoon, anything like that?
Yeah. But I don't talk into a spoon, though.
What do you use? Use like a little pretend microphone, anything?
No, I just do it.
Sure. Walk around talking to yourself. I still do that. All right, well, Ike Davis is up now, and he's 0-2. But when Wilmer Flores comes up here, you want to take that hitter and
Sure.
have Wilmer be your guy?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll try.
What do you think of the way the first inning went for the Diamondbacks?
Not so good.
Yeah.
Defense.
It's usually their strength.
Yeah, like Martin Prado would catch it and Paul Goldschmidt, but they just missed it.
Here's 1-2 to Ike Davis. The ASU Sun Devil drives that one to right. And it short hops around Opara out there. So the Mets have the leadoff man on. Megan, this is sort of the back of your baseball card here. We've got some info on you. We mentioned Wade Miley. D-backs all the way. We like that. No other team, just the D-backs.
Wade, D-backs.
Now, I think Duck Dynasty is Wade's favorite show, too.
Yep.
Yeah, all right. So here is now Wilmer Flores stepping in. And from Madison Park Middle School on the play-by-play, it's Megan Tarango. Megan, take it away.
Sure.
I'm just going to jump in right now and say you have a somewhat understated style. But so feel free to, go nuts.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Foul ball into right field line.
All right. So the count is
0-1.
okay.
Sproul wind up here in the lineup. Hit. And Cliff Pennington. Pennington catches.
Nice. First out.
I try.
So Mike Davis is still on first, 1 out, and now you've got Mike Baxter, which is, I think, coincidental that we have a Baxter mascot.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a guy named Baxter. He has thumbs, unlike our guy.
Yeah. Pause.
Although somehow he tweets, I still don't get how he pulls that off.
I know.
Are you on the Twitter?
No.
Oh, good. That's good.
Yeah.
It gets addictive. Ask Greg Schulte.
Looks at a strike.
You watch a lot of D-backs games? Yeah. Listen on the radio in the car?
Yeah, if we're like going out, I watch every single game.
Nice. Good.
Ball.
I notice you have your Sunday Sedona Red uniform on. Is that your favorite?
Yeah.
Do you have some good sports teams at Madison?
Oh, yeah. Our flag football won state.
Nice.
And our volleyball. And our baseball team wasn't really that good this year, though, but. And they hit it into right field.
So they have 2 on and 1 out now.
Baxter is on base for the second time today.
How about that? There you go. And so now they have to work to Anthony Recker. And last time up, Recker hit an RBI double. So you got to be careful here.
He has a couple of ducks in the pond.
I see what Duck Dynasty. See, I see what you did there. Nice.
You know, Megan, a lot of the baseball players are wearing beards now. They look like they could go on the Duck Dynasty.
Yeah. It's like No Shave November. And a ball.
Let's take a look and make it at Anthony Recker. This is him back in the first inning. What do you see here?
He pounds the ball. He pounds the ball, nice swing, and Martin Prado just misses it.
They tacked on their 4th run of that inning.
And a strike. Nice pitch.
Now, are you thinking about broadcasting schools after high school, or this just kind of a side gig?
It's kind of a side gig.
All right, nice. What do you want to do for a career? Any idea?
No, I haven't decided yet. There's so many things out there.
Yep, good. No rush. Be smart.
A ball. Zeke Sproul can really use double play ball right here to get Davis and Baxter out.
It's good analysis. She's on it.
A ball. 3-2 count.
Now he's in trouble here. He's a ball away from walking the bases loaded. Davis and Baxter, 2 singles in the inning. Quintanilla, the shortstop's on deck.
Quintanilla on deck for the Mets. Falls deep into center field, and A.J. Pollock catches it. And Davis tags into third.
2 down. Gave it a ride.
Well, it's a dangerous 3-1 pitch. Hitters are always a little more aggressive on those 2-0, 3-1 counts. And Anthony Recker, a big, strong guy, put a charge on that one. Hit it high in the air to straightaway center, where A.J. Pollock was able to work his way right back in front of the 407 mark and make the catch.
And now Omar Quintanilla is up. He grounded out his first time. Davis at third, Baxter at first. And Megan Zeke really needs to bear down here and strand these runs. Keep it at 4-1, right?
Yeah.
Got the pitcher on deck.
With the pitcher on deck, do you walk him?
I don't know. It's a good question for Mr. Brenly.
I think you pitch him carefully, but I don't think you walk the guy to load the bases. Zeke had some trouble with his control back in the first inning. He walked 2 guys unintentionally, and Jonathan Neese got a base hit his first time up in the game. So I think they're going to go right after the guy at the plate.
Yeah.
And he's ahead 0-1. Do you get to go to a lot of games, Megan?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Where do you guys usually sit? Anywhere?
Up there. Or sometimes we get club seats.
You know a guy? Todd Walsh?
No.
He always knows a guy. 0-2.
Potentially a situation where the Mets might start the runner over there at first base. Even if he gets thrown out, you'd have the number 8 hitter Quintanilla leading off the next inning. There he goes.
That one's laced into center. Davis scores. Baxter heads to third. He'll wave him in, and Gosowicz puts the tag on, and they got him at the plate. But the Mets tack on a run. It's 5-1. Great job from Madison Park Middle School, Megan Tarango. Megan, how about this one?
That's a good play. And then I'm out.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Here. Mets add a run. It was almost 2 there. Nice tag applied by Tuffy Gosewich, Bob, behind home plate.
Yeah, and not an easy short hop to handle at the plate. Tuffy managed to get a glove on it, was in perfect position to block the plate. Pollock gets to that base hit, fires it back in quickly to the infield. There's that tough short hop throw, but right on the money. Tuffy able to hang on for the out at home plate. Nicely done.
32nd outfield assist this year for Arizona, and their 4th of the series, and A.J. Pollock will lead it off here in the home half of the 3rd. Pollock, Prado, Goldie, 1, 2, and 3, down 5-1. A.J. singled and scored in the 1st, came in on Aaron Hill's RBI double. Diamondbacks have now been out hit 6-3. They trail at 5-1. But lots of time to make that up against Jonathan Neese in his first big league start off the DL. He's been out about 6-7 weeks or so.
Yeah, they were speculating that Neese would throw somewhere between 85 and 95 pitches in this ball game, depending on his effectiveness and how he feels out there on the mound.
He's been bothered by neck and shoulder problems all year long, and the Mets believe it all began when he pitched April games in Minneapolis and Denver, both in sub-freezing temperatures. A.J. drives that one to right center, and the Diamondbacks have the leadoff man on here in the 3rd. Pollock so far 2 for 2. Time for the AT&T Twitter poll question. I wrote this one myself. I'm rather proud. Keith Hernandez, as usual, doing a terrific job in the Mets booth over at SNY. Of course, Keith famous for saying, I'm Keith Hernandez on Seinfeld. So which MLB player had the best cameo on Seinfeld? Keith Hernandez, Buck Showalter, his Orioles coming here tomorrow. Of course, the cotton uniforms. It's a natural fiber. It breathes. You've got Paul O'Neill. Kramer asked him, you've got to hit 2 home runs for a kid. And, of course, Danny Tartable, who drove around with George Costanza in a Carl episode. So which player had the best Seinfeld cameo? That's the Twitter question tonight from AT&T. You a Seinfeld guy at all?
Oh, yeah. In the words of Elaine Bennis, Jerry, he's a guy. Jerry had a little bit of a bromance with Keith Hernandez in that particular episode.
Well, he asked him to move.
Yeah.
That was a little over the line. And Buck Showalter and the Orioles are in here for 3 starting tomorrow. I once had a discussion about that episode with Buck, and he figured out that every time they show it on the reruns and stuff, it actually costs them like 12 cents with taxes and everything, and you got to figure it all out.
Show business.
0-2 to Martin Prado. As Diaz rings him up. Second strikeout for Jonathan Neese. Both looking.
Gibby's going to have to get out there to make sure Martin Prado stays in this ball game. We're already a man down with the injury to Cody Ross, and I think he had a good argument. Martin Prado has as good an eye for the strike zone as any hitter in this Diamondbacks lineup. That cut fastball off the inside corner, and Martin was right.
As Diaz, the plate umpire, says strike 3. Here's Goldie. Flied out in the 1st. Goldie 1 for 4 last night. He was on base 3 times Friday, including the walk-off home run. Great job by Megan Tarango. Up here, play-by-play. Goes to a lot of D-backs games. She really knew the ball club. Though now I sort of feel like we need to go get Wade Miley to explain how he would flip-flop the infield.
Well, of course, I'm making a huge assumption here, but when I played baseball at Ohio University, the last practice of the fall season, we used to play what we called a backwards game. You hit the ball, instead of running to first, you run to third. So obviously a ground ball hit to the infield. Instead of throwing to first, you have to throw it to third base for the out. You run the bases backwards. Everything is backwards. And it was a lot of fun. Right-handed hitters got to see what it felt like to be a left-handed hitter, where you can let that ball get deep and just slap it to the opposite field. Lefties had to hit the ball and then run down the third base line. It was a lot of fun because, guys, your instincts kick in. You put the ball in play and you start to run down the first base line. You realize, wait, I'm going the wrong way.
In fact, I think Jody Jackson has more on that whole fiasco. Jody.
Well, guys, you know, it was an interesting question from Megan, and Wade even said, you know, hey, great question. And my understanding from Megan is that just because he's left-handed, he wants to switch things around, and obviously now we know he wants to be a shortstop. So, you know, Megan uncovered some things about Wade that we didn't know, and they were equally strange as all the other things we know about Wade already.
Yeah, you only want to uncover so much with Wade. Some of it is better left undiscovered. Now, of course, only Wade would figure out a way as a left-hand hitter to take himself further away from what would be first base. Aaron Hill drives that one to left. And it's gone. Diamondbacks are right back in it. Aaron Hill, his 7th of the season, his second in 2 games. That's a Fulton home run. It's another $150 going to Central Arizona Mountain Rescue.
Oh, just a nice, easy swing on a pitch down in the zone. He gets down and threw that ball right off the sweet spot of the bat. That made a great sound. Gets it about 2 rows deep in the bleachers and left for a 3-run bomb.
And now the first major league at bat for 22-year-old Matt Davidson. His major league debut. There's a strike, 0-1. Davidson hitting .278 for AAA Reno this year. 16 homers and 68 RBIs. First round pick by the D-backs in the 09 draft, the 35th player selected overall out of high school in California.
Years ago in A-ball Visalia, had a 20-homer season, drove in 106 last year playing at AA Mobile. 23 homers, 76 runs driven in. Learns quickly. Swung at that same pitch up there above the letters earlier in the sequence. Able to lay off that one to run the count to 2-2.
Cited by Baseball America as the best power hitter in the Diamondbacks farm system. Sky high to center. Lagar cylindered in.
It's a nice round of applause for his first at bat at the major league level. Enjoy that, because if you keep popping up to center field, they're going to stop clapping at some point.
I imagine it's always nice to have the first one done.
Absolutely. Now he can breathe a little bit, relax. You know, I think that's the biggest thing you take away from your first at bat. You get back to the dugout and you tell yourself, geez, that's the same thing I've been doing my whole life. It's no different. Pitcher's mound 60 feet 6 inches away. The strike zone is the same depending on the home plate umpire. That's the same game you played your whole life. I can do this. Boy, and he has got some serious hair. I'll tell you what. Spoken as a true jealous old man. That is a hide. That's not hair.
That's Redford hair. Looks like a 90210 guy.
Wow. Well, good for him.
Major league career of Matt Davidson is underway. 2-1 to Gerardo Parra. off the glove of Flores at third. There's a guy who just started his big league career a week ago. They rule out a hit for Parra. By the way, if you're scoring on his previous at-bat when he bunted it up the first base line and ran into it, now that is scored as batter's interference on Gerardo Parra back in the second inning. Tuffy Gozawish singled his first time up. Tuffy was having a good year at AAA Reno, hitting .285. He was a Pacific Coast League All-Star this summer. That's high in the air to center. Lagares coming in again. And that's the inning. Diamondbacks strand one, but Aaron Hill gets him right back in the ball game. A 3-run home run, his seventh, has made it a 5-4 Met lead.
A family affair here at the ballpark for the Davidsons. Jody Jackson alongside Matt Davidson's parents, Glenn and Candy. And guys, I know Matt just arrived here at the ballpark about a half an hour before game time. So tell me when you got the word.
Last night was listening to the game on the computer, and then he got taken out in the fifth inning, and I didn't know why. And then they said he wasn't hurt or anything like that. So I texted him in the middle of the game just so he'd get back to me afterwards, and he called after the game and said, "Pack your bags, we're going to Arizona."
Awesome. And Candy, what was the excitement level in his voice? And what is the excitement level right now for all of you for him to make his major league debut?
Got really teared up, and like I am now, just glad for the moment. So we're just so proud of him. So.
It's got to be amazing for him. Obviously, a top prospect in the D-back system right now. And you guys rushed over here, and you've got a lot of family here. Helen, his grandmother, and other members.
My mom's here, Helen, and Matt's fiance, Julianne, and my daughter, Nicole, and my son, Kevin, who was here. But we called everybody last night and said, be at the house at 7. We're going to jump in the motorhome and drive down the 10 freeway and get to Phoenix. So it was a nice road trip.
Recollect moments of when he was a kid playing ball? I mean, does it kind of come full circle right now?
Yeah, definitely. We have pictures of Matt in front of Chase, or back then, I'm not sure if it was Chase or not, but in front of the World Series trophy out front. Matt was a huge Randy Johnson fan. He used to pitch. And then also we came here for a pre-draft workout. So I've got some different different evolution of pictures of him from when he was young up until I'm hoping to get one after the game today.
Yeah, certainly great moment for you guys as a family today. And I know, Candy, you know, it sounded like you have great memories here too.
That was one vacation we took, is that he wanted to come to the field. And so we took them, I think it was around 12, and we toured, and here he is. It's pretty surreal, so it's a happy time.
Back here at Chase Field, the Davidsons and Matt in uniform and playing for the Arizona Diamondbacks, guys.
It's a great moment. There's no question. It's great that they're all here to be here, Bob, and share it with Matt.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, sometimes the parents and the family, because of the short notice and the distance necessary to get to the ballpark, they're not able to make that debut. But fortunately for Matt and his family, they're all here today.
NY Jr. pops that one up after knee strikes out. And there is Matt Davidson, 2 down behind the new pitcher for the Diamondbacks, Josh Colemanter out there. '34th appearance of the season for Josh. He last worked on Wednesday against Tampa Bay. Gave up 3 runs on 4 hits in 1 2/3. Josh has been scored on in 3 of his last 4 appearances. Juan Lagares 1 for 2, single in the first. So, Bob, a short day here for Zeke Sproul.
Yeah, just didn't appear to be on top of it today. The Mets jumping on him early, scoring those 4 in the first, gave up another one in the 3rd inning. And I think with the Diamondbacks pulling back within a run on the Aaron Hill home run, Gibby decided he's going to go with some guys he's a little more sure of, and thinks Josh Colemanter can not only put some zeros on the board, but maybe give him a little length out of that bullpen.
Trying to keep pace with the Reds. Right now the Reds are tied up with San Diego, 2-2 in Cincinnati. It's the bottom of the 13th, and Joey Votto is up with the bases loaded. So we'll keep you posted on that. Dodgers host Tampa Bay later tonight. 2-2 on Juan Lagares. Lagares has hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games. He's batting almost .330 since the All-Star break. Hard to center, that drops in. Lagares is on base for the 2nd time. He'll stop there. He's 2 for 3. The more you see this guy play, the more you like him. Certainly if you're a Met fan. Over the last 6 weeks or so, his offense has caught up to his glove.
Yeah, he tried to beat the outfield shift that time. A.J. Pollock is shading way over in the gap in right center, and that ball looked like it was going to split the gap, but that closing speed by Pollock, he's able to get to that ball on the backhand side, hustle it back in, and hold Lagares to a single.
Daniel Murphy's 0 for 2.
A couple things that will allow you to overshift in the outfield like we saw A.J. Pollock doing for Lagares. Number one is if you've got great speed. A.J.'s got that in spades. But if you got a pitcher on the mound that hits his spots, that makes it a little bit easier to overshift, knowing that that guy is going to try to throw the ball and force the hitter to hit the ball into the shift. The Atlanta Braves were notorious for that back in the Maddox, Glavine, Smoltz days. Guys that obviously could hit their spots with consistency. They would overshift drastically in the outfield.
Reds have just won on a Joey Votto game-winning RBI, a walk-off sacrifice fly. So the Reds beat the Padres 3-2 in 13 innings. Ian Kennedy started that game for San Diego.
Great change up there from Josh Colemanter. We've talked about it at length this season. Same delivery as his fastball, same arm slot, same release point. Ball just floats out of his hand like a marshmallow.
That one's thrown into right. Lagares will stop at second. And Murphy has his first hit. Mets have 2 on and 2 out. Ike Davis now. And you got to be careful here with Ike Davis. He's been on base twice so far today. Walked and scored in the first, singled and scored in the third. He was on base 4 times last night. And Ike Davis, since the All-Star break, is batting over .350. He's been taking a ton of walks. He's still not driving the ball with authority the way the Mets would like, but boy, considering he was struggling so badly, had to be sent down to the minor leagues, hitting about $160. But since he's been back, which was on July the 5th, he's hit exactly 300. A ton of walks over that span, but only 1 home run. But he certainly has looked like a different guy since he's been back up. Here is the splits. You can see, wow. Hitting 161 when he was sent down in early June.
And he's reached base in his last 6 plate appearances, which ties a career high for him. It happened also last year in the middle of the season. Walked and singled today in last night's ball game. A walk, a double, a single, and an intentional walk.
Green 1. You've watched Ike Davis play for a long time, right?
Yeah, ever since he was a little kid. I mean, he wasn't as tall as his bat. Playing at sandlots all around the valley, various traveling teams. So I played at Chaparral High School, ASU, and now with the New York Mets.
Ball 4, the bases are loaded.
Well, we were talking about Josh Colementer's changeup. We're going to get a really close, slow look at it. The first delivery you'll see is the changeup. The ball is thrown off the middle finger and the ring finger. So the index finger was just kind of there to balance the ball. This is the fastball. Index finger, middle finger, right behind the baseball. And that subtle difference in the grip takes about 10 miles per hour off the pitch, which what makes it such an effective off-speed delivery.
Lagares on third, Murphy on second, Davis at first, 2 outs. And the batter is Wilmer Flores. He walked and scored in the first. Popped up his last time up. Mets with 4 in the first, 1 in the third, and threatening here with 2 outs in the fourth. One and one. 7 straight plate appearances, a career high. He's become suddenly an on-base percentage machine ever since playing for AAA Las Vegas. Off the fist, shallow center, AJ. Colementer strands, the bases loaded. We'll head to the home half of the fourth. It's still a 1-run ball game. CenturyLink, your link to what's next so far. AJ Pollock 2 for 2.
I get done with you guys, Crank said that he was pretty sore, and I have to look at him tomorrow. About just not knowing anything was wrong, just kind of put our defense in, and then when I came in the clubhouse, after I get done with you guys, Crank said that he was pretty sore, and I have to look at him tomorrow. So all in all, the doctor looked at him. This is where we're going to go.
Oh, Kirk Gibson, our Geico quote of the game on Eric Chavez and his status right now with a sore left knee and stiffness in the right hip. He was talking about the fact that on Friday night he wasn't aware that there was any issue with Eric's health, but then yesterday he was actually unavailable to even pinch hit, and today going on the DL, his second stint this season. And with Cody Ross and that injury, we're still awaiting word. Obviously quite a blow to the Diamondbacks offense right now, guys.
Yeah, Jody, it explains actually, Bob, why the question we were asking up here in the booth yesterday, which is why wasn't Eric Chavez in the lineup against the right-hander Zach Wheeler, and now we know why.
And there were a couple of pinch hit situations late in the game that looked like they called for Eric Chavez to take an at bat, but now we know.
Cliff Pennington looks at a ball. It's 1-2 now.
Well, and that's one of the balancing acts as a manager. You try to be as forthcoming with the media as you possibly can, but there are situations where you just don't want the team in that other dugout to know what's going on with your ball club. And obviously, if Kirk Gibson lets us know, and we talk about it on the air, if he talks to the writers in the press box, they talk to the New York writers. Eventually, it gets back to the first base dugout, and it gives somewhat of a strategic advantage to Terry Collins, knowing that Chavez is not available.
Called strike there by Laz Diaz. Let's go to Los Angeles for a Fox Sports 1 game break.
Pitcher, Josh Colemanter.
Thanks very much. Josh Colemanter lines out for the second out. Back at Chase Field, Diamondbacks trail the Mets 5-4. And here's the top of the order, A.J. Pollock. So far, A.J. 2 for 2. He has singled twice and scored twice.
Made a few nice running catches and cut off some balls that looked like they were headed for the gap and extra bases. A.J.'s had himself a nice game already. We're only in the bottom of the fourth.
I like him defensively. He'll make the occasional spectacular catch, but he just runs everything down in the gaps, and he can come in, he can go back. Hard to left, D.Y. Jr. Allowed out number 3 in the fourth. We are through 4. The Diamondbacks trail the Mets 5-4. D-backs will wear the throwback black, purple, and teal jerseys. It's a 5-10 game against the Giants.
6.
Then after the final out, we'll welcome back former D-back greats Luis Gonzalez, Mark Grace, Greg Swindell, Yerubio Durazo, and more of your favorites. It's the second annual Alumni Exhibition Game. That's in partnership with Denny's and Sanderson Ford. You can get more information online at dbacks.com/alumni. Saw Matt Williams earlier this week taking some batting practice. So you may want to pick up the pace a little here.
Those days are long gone. I haven't swung a bat in anger in about, 30 years. There are those that said I didn't swing it in anger often enough during my career. Now, we'll leave that to the players, even the retired players.
You practicing double switches, anything?
Yeah, arguing with umpires. I've been practicing that.
Sure.
Yeah.
For years now, in fact. Mike Baxter leads off the 5th against Josh Colmenter. Tim Timmons with a nice play down there. Tom Goodwin, the Mets first base coach. Baxter has reached on an error and scored. He's also singled. Baxter's the guy that hit the ball with the bases loaded that went off Goldie's glove in the first for 3 runs. Baxter sent to the minor leagues on June 10th. He was down for 49 games, hitting only .212 when he was sent to AAA. But was recalled when they lost David Wright with a hamstring injury. And I think David Wright could miss about a month or so. Mike Baxter's from Archbishop Malloy High School in Queens. Great basketball program there. That one.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Arizona Diamondbacks regular season home game.
One out, the catcher Anthony Recker, RBI double in the first. He's 1 for 2. You saw a little bit of Recker, didn't you, last year in Chicago?
He was with the Cubs for a short period of time, and no secrets to his game. He's a solid defensive catcher behind the plate, blocks the ball well, throws pretty well, but he's looking to work the count in his favor and then try to hit the ball over the moon. I mean, that's a lot of backup catchers. That's their approach to the game. Do my job behind the plate, get my pitcher through the ball game, and if I get up there with an opportunity with a count in my favor, try to hit one in the seats. Narrowly missed one in his last at bat, a deep fly ball to center field. A.J. Pollock had to go all the way back to the 407 mark, and that came on a 3-1 pitch.
Recker out of the baseball powerhouse that is Alvernia College in Reading, PA. He was an 18th round pick by Oakland in the 05 draft.
I would venture a guess that Alvernia College probably played some exhibition games against the AA affiliate in Reading. It's not uncommon for teams in minor league cities that have a college in that town to play an exhibition game before their season starts against the college.
Might have played against Tuffy Gozawish there. Tuffy played Reading for a long time in his long journey to the major leagues. That's the second out. Here's Omar Quintanilla.
Shortstop.
By the way, well, you've got to update Tuffy's catcher's gear. He caught his first game in his Reno Aces stuff. That was in Texas, and he sort of got the kind of the generic catcher look going tonight.
Yeah, black looks good with the Sedona red, though.
Sure. Quintanilla RBI single his last time, 1 for 2. Omar Quintanilla is a Texas Longhorn. He was a first-round pick by the A's in 2003. He was actually drafted just ahead of both Jared Saltalamacchia of the Red Sox and Adam Jones of the Orioles.
Quick update on Trevor Cahill, pitching for the Reno Aces today. Through 6 innings, has given up only 5 hits and 2 runs. So after a little bit of a shaky start, has settled in. Thrown a couple of ground ball double plays, which is what you expect from Trevor Cahill.
Three and two. Jonathan Neese, the pitcher, is on deck. Up the middle, Pennington has to hurry. Back-to-back scoreless innings, much needed. It's still a one-run ball game. Send your link to what's next. Coming up for the Diamondbacks, Prado, Goldschmidt, and Hill, the heart of the order. Diamondbacks trail at 5-4. Hey fans, Diamondbacks and Miller Lite will host a post-game concert featuring Roger Clyne and the Peacemakers. That'll be Sunday, September 1st. And the concert is free to attend with the ticket for that day's D-backs and Giants game. It's a 1:10 start. And you can get your tickets by calling 602-462-4600 or log on to dbacks.com/concert. That looks good.
That looked a lot like what I ordered for lunch today. She's just delivering it to the wrong place.
It's Martin Prado to lead off the 5th against the left-hander Jonathan Neese. Prado so far 0 for 2. He struck out looking his last time up and then gave umpire Laz Diaz the what for after that called third strike. Prado, Goldie, Hill 2, 3, and 4. In fact, all 3 strikeouts for Jonathan Neese in the ball game have been looking. All called strikes.
Some minor construction work going on here in the booth. You may hear a little bit of noise in the background.
less reliable member of the staff back there is. Prado drives that one to left. Eric Young Jr.'s there. Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 6 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations. Goldie walked and scored his last time up. He's 0 for 1. Saw some people around here last night, BB, after the game was over, sort of scavenging for leftover Goldie bobbleheads.
Probably with no luck, I'm guessing.
Hard to right, Baxter. He got it. Mike Baxter with a terrific catch in right field for the second out. Takes a base hit away from Paul Goldschmidt.
Hit it too hard. That line drive carries a lot further than it looked like it was going to off the bat. That's a nice sliding catch, able to roll over. Left wrist kind of got tucked underneath there as he went into his slide, but managed to hang on. Shows the ball to Tim Timmons, and Jonathan Neese appreciates the effort.
And here is the dangerous Aaron Hill, who is hitting everything right now. In fact, he's hitting so well, he's our APS Energy All-Star, 2 for 2. He had an RBI double in the first and a 3-run homer in the third.
Going back a little further over his last 12 ball games plus today, 417 with 12 runs driven in and 10 extra base hits.
Baxter again. This one's right to him. 3 loud outfield outs for the Diamondbacks against Neath in the 5th. It's still a 5-4 ball game. Fun times at the Ram Trucks Pool. Great place to watch a game or bring a giant cardboard head.
Sink or float.
Who's the guy in the middle? Did we figure that out?
No, I don't know. Yeah, maybe the guy who is organizing the party out there.
Oh, yeah, he couldn't actually make it, so they brought a big head of him. He's sort of the brains of the operation. There are a few more ladies out there, I've noticed. Apparently word got out.
Those guys can thank you for that.
I'm a good wingman. 0-1. Jonathan Neese 1 for 2. He's singled back in the second. Neese, Young, Lagares 9-1-2 here in the Mets 6th. And Josh Colemanter on for his 3rd inning of work. That one is lifted foul down the left field line on a play. Already 45 pitches for Josh Colemanter, 28 for strikes. Josh has allowed 12 runs in his last 12 games. In fact, since July the 1st, he has pitched to an ERA of almost 6. He's got the strikeout. Second strikeout for Colemanter, one down here in the 6th. Oh, a little birthday celebration up there. Dig in. That's a George Costanza moment right there. Speaking of our Seinfeld Twitter poll question. He's clearly on a beer and ice cream diet. Some wings mixed in. It's a real strenuous program he's got going there.
For a little more substance, yeah.
Oh, it's his birthday. EY Jr. Eric Young Jr. has played 45 games for the Mets since the trade from Colorado, and since he's been with New York, he's hit .258. He's also stolen 15 bases and given them a nice dimension they haven't had in a while. A genuine leadoff hitter.
Well, Trevor Cahill's afternoon is done. Reno leading Memphis 3-2. Cahill went 7 innings, gave up the 5 hits, 2 runs, walked 3, struck out 4 in that ball game through 98 pitches, 55 for strikes. Pretty solid outing for Trevor Cahill. As I mentioned, a couple of ground ball double plays. And as always, in any rehab outing, the key is how does he feel tomorrow?
Joe Thatcher, the left-hander. Still no word on Cody Ross, who had to leave the game with an injury. As soon as we have that, we'll pass it along to you. Aaron Hill! Ho! And that with EY Jr. that speed flying up the line.
Just the body control that it takes, not only just to get to that ball, several steps to his left and deep out into shallow right field, but then to roll around on his rear end, make a perfectly accurate throw onto Paul Goldschmidt. You saw that glove dragging along the turf there, but managed to hold the ball inside the leather and gets the out at first. Nicely done.
Nagaris bunted foul. Cody Ross has been taken for x-rays. Those have been performed, and the Diamondbacks are still waiting for the results, so we have no news as of yet. But Cody has been checked out.
Now take a look at Aaron Hill's glove. Watch him as he goes to the ground right here. The ball is just kind of hanging out of the glove right there, but watch his glove kind of bouncing along the turf right there, but he manages to keep that ball inside.
Like Fred Flintstone trying to stop his car. It's another scoreless inning for Josh Colemanter. He's worked 3 scoreless. It's a 5-4 game as we head to the bottom of the 6th. trail the Mets 5-4, and Aaron Hill at second base, turning in our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool play of the game.
Can't see it enough. That's just a great play. I talk all the time about body control, sliding across that grass with your back to your target, but ultimately planting that right foot, finding the ball, and throwing on to Goldschmidt for the out.
Matt Davidson's second big league at bat came in after Cody Ross had to leave with an injury. Davidson, left field, and there's his first major league hit. Matt Davidson. High fives from the family.
Pitch off the plate inside, shows a quick bat, pulls his hands inside, got jammed just a little bit, but you see the strength of Matt Davidson, able to muscle that ball out into left field for his first major league base hit. Loving it.
Mom and Dad right there. Everybody got the word yesterday, and they jumped in the RV and drove down the 10, and here they are.
Life's good.
First major league hit for Matt Davidson. So the D-backs have the leadoff man on in the 6th, down 5-4. Gerardo Parra singled his last time up. And Gerardo Parra, after getting a breather a bit last week, has looked refreshed and energized this weekend. 2 hits last night, and a diving grab down the right field line for a highlight reel catch. Nice throws Quintanilla off the bag. They get the force on Davidson, but Parra reaches. Let's go to Los Angeles now. It's a Fox Sports 1 game break. Well, that's not good news for the Diamondbacks, trying to catch the Reds for that second NL wildcard spot. Ian Kennedy started that game for San Diego, pitched very well, and at one point had retired 16 in a row. But gave up the game-tying home run late there to Xavier Paul to make it 2-2, and eventually the Padres lost in extra innings. Tuffy Gozawish, 1 for 2, single in the second. Right back to Nice again. They'll try it one more time, and again he makes a poor throw to second. And everybody's safe. His first one pulled Quintanilla off the bag. They still got the force. That time they can't get anyone.
Taylor made double play ball, comebacker to the mound, plenty of time. He just lollipops that ball out there to Quintanilla. He's lucky that Gerardo Parra didn't take his legs off right there at second base. As it is, Diamondbacks have a couple guys on base here with 1 out in the inning and a chance to really do some damage here for Cliff Pennington.
Well, the Mets took advantage of an error in the first inning when, with the bases loaded, a ball went off the glove of Paul Goldschmidt at first base. It was a difficult play down the first base line, but nevertheless it was scored an error. 3 runs scored. It was part of a 4-run net first, and so an error here has perhaps opened the door for the Diamondbacks to tie the ball game. They have first and second, 1 out for Cliff Pennington. Pennington 0 for 2. He struck out looking his last time. Pitcher's spot is due up next. Jason Kubel is in the on-deck circle. Parra at second, Gozawish at first. There's a strike, 0-2.
Looked like that may have been a cross-up right there. Usually when you see a catcher immediately after receiving the pitch head out to the mound, that's an indication it's a cross-up. That's actually a real nice job by Anthony Recker to expect fastball, get breaking ball, and still be able to hold that pitch on the corner of the plate and get the called strike.
Two and two.
D-backs looking for their 33rd come from behind victory of the season. They got number 32 on Friday night. They made a run at it last night but fell just a little bit short. Now after 3 shutout innings from Josh Colmenter out of the bullpen, offense needs to find a way to push a couple runs across.
Called strike 3. Four strikeout for Jonathan Neese, all on called third strikes by plate umpire Laz Diaz. Jason Kubel. Big spot here for Kubel. Hitting in the pitcher's spot.
We'll see the kind of trickle-down effect that the injury to Cody Ross has, as well as the injury to Eric Chavez. You would have to believe with Matt Davidson being called up, he's going to play every day at third base.
You can't have him up here and sitting, right?
Yeah, really no point to that. You know, if he's not going to play, you'd much rather have him down at Reno getting his regular at-bats. But if he's up here, I would assume he's going to play third base on a pretty regular basis, which would move Martin Prado more than likely back out to the outfield on a regular basis with Cody Ross being injured.
1-1 to Kubel.
A lot of moving parts for manager Kirk Gibson right now, and the flexibility of Martin Prado allows him to do a lot of different things depending on the opposing pitcher and who's swinging the hot bat at any particular time.
He's played a lot of second. He's played a lot of left in addition to third base. Two and one.
Fans certainly didn't like that swing call. Take another look from a side angle. Yeah. Of course, I have an argument for that too. If the umpire's tracking the ball, how can you see the bat? Now I know that with your peripheral vision you can see two things at once, but that's why hitters always say ask for help.
Jonathan Neese strikes out Pennington, strikes out Kubel to strand 2. We are through 6. It's 5-4 Mets. Welcome back to Chase Field, set for the 7th inning here, fans. The Diamondbacks trailing the Mets and trying to find some offense here. They've been out hit 8-7. It's a 5-4 ball game. As we start the 7th inning, it'll be Daniel Murphy, Ike Davis, and Wilmer Flores. 3, 4, and 5 against Joe Thatcher from Kokomo, Indiana. His 55th appearance of the season, his 5th with the Diamondbacks. With the D-backs so far, Joe Thatcher has faced 10 batters and given up only 1 hit. And that was in his previous outing. That was against the Rays on Wednesday.
Back-to-back lefties to start this inning, and then the right-handed hitting Wilmer Flores, followed by Mike Baxter, another lefty. One of the hardest things you have to do as a manager in spring training when you have a guy like Joe Thatcher, or back in the day we had Mike Myers, the left-handed specialist, is to try to get them in a game against some left-handers. The opposing manager's got a whole roster full of players to use in spring training, and rarely do you have a chance to get that guy in there against lefties, as Davidson catches that pop foul for out number 1.
He'll face 2 off the bat here, and Murphy and Davis. And Ike Davis has been on base all 3 times he's been up. A pair of walks and a single. He scored twice. And this one night after Ike Davis reached base 4 times in 4 plate appearances last night. He has become an on-base percentage machine since he's returned from the minor leagues. He was hitting 165 at the end of April. Things went downhill from there. By early June, he was at AAA. There's the strike.
Yeah, for Ike Davis, this is his first look at Joe Thatcher, and probably hopes it's his last.
Well, he played 21 games in AAA, hit .293 with 7 homers. And he's been back since July 5th. He's got a ton of walks, but still only 1 home run. And they want Ike Davis. Hey, walks are great. They'll take him. They want him getting on base, but they really want him to drive the ball. And he gets, Bobby has a, we talked about his feet earlier, and he kind of has a very wide base, but he's also sort of got that waggle, a lot of long arms and legs in there.
Got a little bit of a hitch, and that was one of the issues he had with the Mets earlier this year. They wanted him to make some changes mechanically to his swing. He felt, this is the swing that's worked for me my whole life. I don't really want to change it too much. So as a compromise, they sent him down to AAA to work on some mechanical adjustments rather than try to do them up here at the major league level.
Oh. I mean, he's been ringing guys up all day. 3-2. Ball 4. Ike Davis is on base again. That's 3 walks. He's reached base now in 8 straight plate appearances in this series. Wilmer Flores. So far 0 for 2. He walked and scored in the first. Wilmer, 4 hits in 5 games in his first week in the big leagues. Getting a long look at third base with David Wright on the DL after suffering a hamstring injury. Sandy Alderson is the Mets GM. He was in Oakland when Eric Chavez was the prize prospect at third base in that organization. And Alderson reminded some of the New York media that Chavez was actually a minor leaguer who was considered a liability defensively. And they have high hopes for Flores. Xavi worked out pretty well, 6 Gold Gloves, and Flores has a single. 2 on, 1 out for the Mets. Time to answer the AT&T Twitter poll question. Best cameo by a major leaguer on Seinfeld, and I'm Keith Hernandez is a runaway winner. Over Buck Showalter's cotton uniforms, Paul O'Neill's request for 2 home runs, and Danny Tartable's fundraising pledge drive car ride with George Costanza. So Keith is the big winner. That's it for Joe Thatcher. Kurt Gibson is out to get the right-hander Will Harris in the game. Pitching change to Chase Field. We'll take a break. Joe Thatcher out of the game, but as he was walking off, Bob, some words for Laz Diaz.
And rightfully so. It looked like he had Ike Davis struck out before ultimately issuing the base on balls. This was the flat slider that looked like it was knee high inside third of the plate, but just did not get the call. Davis ultimately draws a walk. Flores with a base hit. Thatcher out of the game in favor of Will Harris.
His 38th appearance. He pitched an inning in Friday's series opener, gave up 1 hit.
Be facing the pinch hitter Andrew Brown, who takes over now for Mike Baxter.
Here's a look at Andrew Brown.
3 for 17 with a homer as a pinch hitter for Terry Collins off the bench.
18th round pick by the Cardinals in the 07 draft. Played 46 games with the Rockies last year. Davis at second, Flores at first. Here at the 3-0. Will Harris has been scored on in 3 of his last 8 appearances. He's worked 6 1/3 over that span, giving up 9 hits. He's behind here, 3-1. Somebody call for help.
The man of steel. Game's out here, pal.
Oh, kryptonite for Andrew Brown's bat right there. We'll do it again.
Cutter meant to work its way back to the inside corner, just stayed inside that time to Brown. Hit him right above the knuckles, just shattered that bat.
Will Harris, the LSU Tiger. Andrew Brown, the Nebraska Cornhusker. Foul ground. Goldie giving chase on the run.
That ball wasn't popped that high in the air. Goldie just turns and runs to where he thinks the spot is going to be. That ball sliced a little bit closer to the bleachers down that right field line. Just couldn't recover in time.
Ike Davis at second. Wilmer Flores at first. That ball is crushed, and that ball is gone. Andrew Brown makes it 8-4 Mets.
Boy, it seems like everybody in the game nowadays is a low ball hitter. Andrew Brown went down and got that cutter. No doubt about it. Absolutely mashed that ball. You may remember Aaron Hill's home run back in the third. Came on a very similar pitch, down and in.
Anthony Recker. Popped him up. Aaron Hill has a beat on it in front of the outfield grass. And that's the second out.
I think it's just a little bit the evolution of the game. Pitchers are pounding down, down, down. Umpires don't call a lot of high strikes. Guys have all turned into low ball hitters. Aaron Hill earlier in the game goes down and golfs one out to left field. And on the right, Andrew Brown does the same on a pitch, down and in. You could probably count on one hand the number of guys that you would classify as high ball hitters on either one of these rosters. I mean, they'll get hits on pitches up in the zone, but they do most of the damage on pitches down.
Does that get back to the discussion about changing a batter's eye level, elevate a little more often?
Absolutely. Prado, a guy I would consider to be a good high ball hitter. He handles pitches down in the zone as well, but I think he's a little better on pitches up in the zone.
Roll to short, little dribbler for Pennington. And the throw is there. Goldie able to keep a foot on the bag, and that's it. But Andrew Brown, a 3-run homer, makes it an 8-4 Mets lead. Some Goldie defense here. Diamondbacks have more work to do. Top of the order coming up. In part by CenturyLink, your link to what's next. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Lone Butte Casino, you're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. London Bridge, it hasn't fallen down, it's been rebuilt. Diamondbacks trying to rebuild the ball game here. They trail at 8-4 after Andrew Bound's big 3-run homer has doubled up the D-back. New pitcher for the Mets, replacing Jonathan Neese. This is the right-hander, David Ardsma.
You know, I'm not even sure if they still publish a book called the Baseball Encyclopedia, but if they do, David Ardsma would be the very first player that you would see. AARDSMA.
You're on a list ahead of Hank Aaron. You're doing something right.
Yeah.
He has stranded all 13 inherited runners this year. That's the most of the majors without allowing a runner to score. He'll work to begin this inning in the 7th against the top of the Diamondbacks lineup. A.J. Pollock, Martin Prado, and Paul Goldschmidt. Andrew Brown, who had the big home run, stays in the game. He'll take over for Mike Baxter in right field. Oh, Bob, you mentioned it right away. You looked at this order the Mets put out there, and this isn't murderer's row here, but everybody is a major league hitter.
I mean, everybody's trying to get hits every day, and it's not always the marquee names that do the damage. And with the lineup Terry Collins ran out there today, there was no telling who was going to do the damage in this Mets lineup, but they have definitely done some damage against D-backs pitchers today.
But still a chance to get back in it here as we start the 7th with the top of the order. A.J. Pollock, Martin Prado, and Paul Goldschmidt. A.J. so far 2 for 3. He has singled twice and scored twice. A.J. Pollock, his third hit. He's 3 for 4. Diamondbacks have the leadoff man on against David Ardsma.
3 hits in the game, and the 1 out that A.J. Pollock made chased Eric Young all the way to the wall in left field. He was able to track it down and make the catch, but it looked like a home run off the bat. See the high leg kick. Catches that ball out in front. That was a high ball. A.J. Pollock tomahawks it through that left side of the infield.
Well, A.J.'s been in and out of the lineup lately, more out than in. This is only his 9th start since the All-Star break, trying to get some at-bats. Martin Prado 0 for 3. Prado has hit in 8 of his last 9 games. 6 of those have been multi-hit games. Much like Aaron Hill, the hits have been coming in bunches. June 22nd, Martin Prado was hitting .238. Since then, he's hit almost .350 and raised his batting average about 40 points. Spins and throws, and they get the force on A.J. at second. Mark Wegner, the second base umpire. I think he got the call right.
Yep, very close.
So A.J. erased. Prado aboard at first with 1 out. Here's Goldie. Nice play there by Wilmer Flores. That was chopped up so high in the air, it looked like it had a shot to get over his glove and roll up that left field line. Goldie 0 for 2, walked and scored in the third. Some news on Cody Ross. Let's go downstairs to Jody Jackson.
Yeah, guys, earlier we heard that Cody was taken off and did get x-rays on that right leg. We know now that the diagnosis is a dislocated right hip. So that's the injury right now for Cody Ross as he left this game today on a stretcher.
And that's certainly not great news. See that he had become a real force in this lineup, healthy for the first time in a long time. The number since the 1st of July.
Yeah, hitting righties and lefties. Early in the season, he was basically a lefty assassin, but lately he'd been hitting everybody.
Goldie's hit safely in 7 of his last 9 games, including 6 home runs. He's ahead here, 3-1. Prado on first, 1 away. Two on and 1 out. Diamondbacks need base runners. Especially ahead of this guy. Aaron Hill 2 for 3. RBI double in the first. A 3-run home run in the third. Conference time. Dan Worthern, the pitching coach.
You know, hip injuries are rather odd in the game of baseball. It's just something you don't hear a lot about. I mean, Bo Jackson had some hip issues. Albert Bell. Of course, Alex Rodriguez has had problems with both hips, among other things.
You were right. Looking at the replay, it certainly appeared that tripping in front of the bag isn't where he injured himself. Rather, when he sort of overextended or maybe even hyperextended and fell on the bag. But it's certainly a big loss for Kirk Gibson on a team looking for offense. Losing one of their most productive hitters over the last month. Here's another one, Aaron Hill now. Prado at second, Goldschmidt at first.
Big day for Aaron Hill already, and he's got ridiculous numbers against David Archman. 3 for 4 lifetime with a couple of doubles.
This was Aaron Hill back in the third against the lefty Jonathan Neese. His 7th of the season, a 3-run shot. Hitting over 320 since the All-Star break. Its bullpen is busy down there. Diamondbacks bullpen quiet right now. Hitters count for Aaron Hill. Roll to short, Quintanilla. Murphy. They turn the double play. We are through 7. Diamondbacks trail at 8-4. By Cox Communications and Fry's Food Stores is headed to Chase Field for D-backs game September 15th, and you can get on board to stop by this month's participating Cox retail store in Douglas, and you can enter to win 2 seats on the Fan Express bus, round-trip transportation to and from the game. More info at foxsportsarizona.com. And this is the group from Tucson, Bob, that was aboard the Fox Sports Arizona Fan Express. They rode the big red Sedona red bus here.
Boy, that's the way to make that trip from Tucson up the freeway. Let somebody else do the driving. You can enjoy some time with other baseball fans. Hopefully give them a nice ride home here. Give them a finish.
Josh Satin will hit in the pitcher's spot. Satin walked, singled, scored a run in Friday's game. Josh Satin hitting under 190 since the All-Star break. This is a guy who spent years in the minor leagues trying to make his swing less unusual. It's a little awkward up there. Finally gave up on it, just concentrated on hitting the ball. He's got a lot of moving parts up there too. His swing's always kind of scared off scouts and coaches. Tried different timing mechanisms. That only made it worse. So finally he said, you know what, I'm not thinking about mechanics anymore. I'm just worried about what the pitcher is throwing and how I'm going to barrel it up. And it worked. He's hit. Takes a walk to lead off the inning. Ari De La Rosa just up from AAA Reno, warming up for the Diamondbacks. Leadoff man on for EY Jr. He's 0 for 3. A lot of traffic, Bob, for the Diamondbacks right now. It started last night with David Hernandez, and De La Rosa's up. Chavez goes on the DL. Davidson comes up. Now Cody Ross is a dislocated hip.
Yeah, we talked about it the other day. There's the old saying that baseball season is a marathon, it's not a sprint, but when you get down to the last 50 games or less, it is a sprint, and you got to do whatever you have to do on a daily basis to get that roster right, to get the lineup right, to make the proper changes in the game. It all becomes urgent at this point of the season.
Satin heads for second as the ball gets away from Gozowicz, and he's in there.
Good jump over there by Josh Satin. He saw that curveball headed for the dirt. Unfortunately, Tuffy right behind the hitter, Eric Young. By the time he gets to the ball, he does make a strong throw to second base, but just too much time at a lap. Satin's in on the wild pitch.
And a 2-1 count to Eric Young Jr. It is interesting sometimes to watch when guys elevate. It seems to get some hitters all tied up.
And there's a difference between a high ball hitter and a high ball swinger. A lot of guys will swing at high pitches. They just won't do much with them. Put them in play weakly. A lot of lazy fly balls, lazy pop-ups. But those guys who are good high fastball hitters, like Martin Prado, they'll drive that ball.
Harris back to the mound. Looks Satin back to the bag. That's the second out. Let's go to Los Angeles for a Fox Sports 1 game break.
Lagares.
Thanks very much. One out now here at Chase Field. Juan Lagares, who's 2 for 4, a couple of singles. (3-2) in the ninth. Rockies and Pirates. Giants are trailing Baltimore 7-2 in San Francisco right now. That's in the 8th inning. Orioles will be in here tomorrow. Oh, 2. Roll to second, Aaron Hill. Satin advances to third, 2 down. Kirk Gibson. Left-hander and Daniel Murphy coming up. He's had a lefty warming. And we will see Yuri De La Rosa. Pitching change at Chase Field. We're back after this. Quality with MLB.tv. You can watch every out-of-market game live, and you can watch it on over 350 different supported mobile devices. Just visit MLB.tv today. It's baseball everywhere. Mentioned Matt Davidson up from Reno. He's here replacing Eric Chavez, who went on the DL. David Hernandez is sent down after last night's game, and here replacing David in the Diamondback bullpen is the left-hander. We're seeing him for the second time this year. It's Yuri De La Rosa.
A real small cup of coffee last time around for De La Rosa, but did a really nice job in his 2 1/3 innings pitch. Did not allow a hit or a run. Gives Kirk Gibson that second lefty in the bullpen.
5'9", 165, 23 years old, from the Dominican Republic. He'll work to Daniel Murphy. A little glimmer De La Rosa, as you mentioned, Bob, earlier this year. I remember he pitched against the Brewers here at Chase Field and worked, in fact, 2 full innings, had a couple of strikeouts, so 3 strikeouts, in fact. Worked a pair of 1, 2, 3 innings. A lot of writing there. I'm a blank square guy myself.
Meaning?
Well, it's a philosophical question, really. I don't like the little triangle in the scorecard.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Some guys like the, kind of like the softball scorebook.
I
you
see.
What do you got over there?
I got blank, but then I fill them in. I'm very much color coded. I like the ability to look down at my card and quickly see where the strikeouts are, where the walks are, and where the RBIs are.
Yuri De La Rosa comes in, gets the strikeout. Score that a swinging K. 8-4. We'll see Matt Davidson and talk about Matt when we come back.
Up here in the press box, Matt Davidson set to lead off the inning. He was just called up from AAA Reno, and I am alongside Bernie Pleskoff, a former professional scout as well as a writer now for MLB.com. And Bernie, the first thing I want to ask you is, Matt had his first major league hit earlier today, and what has impressed you in his performance here today?
Well, Jody, I've seen Matt quite a bit, but what I liked today was that he took an inside pitch for his first hit. And that's impressive. He fought it off. He knocked it over the third baseman's head. And Jody, I think he's going to bring some nice protection for Paul Goldschmidt to this club. I just hope he plays every day. He's got to get used to, big league pitching. He has to make some adjustments, but I'm happy for him. He got that first one out of the way. That's big.
He did in the first game. That's always nice. And what do you think his impact on this club can be? You mentioned you feel he should play every day, and obviously that's a good thing for any prospect, but what do you think he can do for this club as they are trying to get back in this NL West race?
I think with a guy like Davidson, you never know when the ball is going to leave the ballpark, especially at Chase Field. This is a good field as a home park for Matt Davidson. He's got a nice bat. Sometimes the swing's a little bit long, but he'll make the adjustments. But Jody, when you have a guy that can hit a home run and change a game to help the Paul Goldschmidt, that's what he could bring to the club. He lengthens the batting order, and I like that.
Thanks very much, Bernie Pleskoff. We saw Matt Davidson there just flying out to right, and Bernie's got great perspective, guys, always on MLB.com. We'll send it back up.
Thanks, Jody. Bernie writes great pieces at MLB.com if you're want to find out how's a guy looked, and anybody can look up numbers, but what I like about Bernie's stuff is he writes it from a scout's perspective. You see things about intangible things that scouts see. He's got Atchison in there. He retires Matt Davidson. Here's Gerardo Parra. That's a fair ball down the right field line. Parra takes the turn and heads for second. Andrew Brown has it in the corner, and Gerardo Parra has his 28th double.
Good to see from Gerardo Parra. Quick bat. See that ball hooking as it went past the bag at first base, rattles around down there in the corner. Boy, love to get Gerardo Parra going again the way he was swinging the bat early in the season.
He looks like a different guy than he did last week. He just looks a little more energized.
I think that time off was really needed for Gerardo Parra. Max effort guy every day, both sides of the ball, offensively and defensively. And sometimes the only way to get that guy a little bit of rest is to completely shut him down. Just don't allow him to play. And he has looked like a different guy since coming back after 3 days off.
So the numbers on Scott Atchison. He was the pitcher that surrendered Paul Goldschmidt's walk-off home run Friday night. He's in there against Tuffy Gozawish. Tuffy is 1 for 3, singled in the second. Drives that one to right. Andrew Brown. 2 down. Parra clearly just needed a break, and this is a guy that was hitting over 320 for the season in the middle of June, and then went through a 6-week stretch where he hit under 180, and his average dropped by about 60 points, and he looked gassed. And Kirk Gibson told us this is a guy that spent a lot of time on the ground, literally. But the week off or so seems to have done him a lot of good. Cliff Pennington. One and two. Mets in the ninth will have Ike Davis, Wilmer Flores, and Andrew Brown up 4, 5, and 6. Davis, for the second straight game, has reached base at all 4 plate appearances. He'll try to go 9 for 9 coming up. Holds off there, 2 and 2. Heath Bell warming up. Up the middle. They will stop Parra at third. He's going to run right through the sign. And he scores. Matt Williams threw up the roadblock 3/4 of the way down the third base line, but Parra was not stopping.
Neither middle infielder for the Mets even bluffing Parra back to the bag at second. Had a big secondary lead. You see Matt Williams holding up the stop sign the entire way, but Parra able to run through the stop sign and the catcher to score.
Well, it's an 8-5 ball game. Each team now with 10 hits. Pitcher spot is due up, and here is Will Nieves. With 2 outs in the 8th will bring the tying run to the plate and A.J. Pollock. Will Nieves, all he does is hit.
And hit. And hit some more.
It's amazing.
352 before that at bat. That'll creep up. Now 44 for 123 on the season. And a lot of those at-bats were 8-10 days in between early in the season when Miguel Montero was doing all the catching.
So you've got Pennington on second, Nieves on first, and Worthing to the mound as A.J. Pollock steps in. Keep in mind, this is the same guy, Atchison, that gave up the Goldie home run Friday. Right and left hand action, up and throwing for the Mets. Davidson led off the getting by flying out. Parra double. Goes a wish flying out. Pennington singled home Parra. Now Nieves is single. And Pollock is the tying run at the plate with 2 outs in the game. AJ so far 3 for 4. 3 singles. He scored twice. Diamondbacks 11 hits last night. They lost 4-1. They have 11 hits again today. They trail at 8-5. Oh, 1. Short, Quintanilla will head to the 9th. It's an 8-5 ball game. More Diamondback defense. More outfield relays. And Aaron Hill at second base. This has been a staple all year long. Cliff Pennington.
Yeah, Cliff has made that particular play several times today. That slow roll to the left side, charge field and throw all in one motion. A.J. Pollock's had a great night out in center field, and Aaron Hill has put on a clinic in this series how to execute the relay throw.
Diamondbacks threaten there. They got one across in the bottom of the game. And for the second straight ball game, they have 11 hits, but once again, they are trailing as we start the 9th with the Heath Bell experience. His 50th appearance this year. He worked Friday against these Mets, gave up 3 singles and 2 runs for a blown save. Friday's outing against New York, the first time Heath had been scored on since July the 10th. And here's Ike Davis, who was on base all 4 times he was up last night, and he's done the same thing again today. He has walked 3 times. He's singled, he's scored 3 times. So he has reached base safely in 8 straight plate appearances in this series, and we'll see here if he can go 9 for 9. 0-2. Heath Bell this season still with more strikeouts than hits allowed, and a walk rate that's the lowest of his career. Two and two. Mike Davis coming off a 32 homer, 90 RBI season last year. And has gone from power hitter to more of a John Olerud type. Getting on base.
Dave Magadan would fall in that same category. Former Met. Singles hitter, took his walks, hit for occasional power, but as you said earlier, that's not really what they're looking for from Mike Davis. They want to see him hit that ball in the seats.
Heath Bell bounces that one. It's 3-2. Davis, Flores, and Andrew Brown in the ninth. Diamondbacks, when they bat, bottom nine will have Prado, Goldie, and Hill. 2, 3, and 4. Here's the 3-2. Hey fans, get ready for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live sports, all the news and highlights you want, and shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1, and it's coming in only 6 days. Launch August 17th. That's a future D-back right there. Wilmer Flores. Wilmer Flores has been one of the top prospects in this system for years now. The bat has been there. The defense has been the question. Started out as a 16-year-old playing shortstop out of Venezuela. That wasn't going so well. By the time he was 20, he was moved around second or third base, and frankly, they're still not sure. Wilmer Flores drives that one. They like the bat, and this is why. It's gone. Wilmer Flores' first major league home run. It's a 9-5 Mets lead. Here's the reception in the Met dugout. Andrew Brown swings and misses, and they will tell you top to bottom, this kid will hit. They don't know where he'll play defensively, but he'll play somewhere.
And he may bring the mullet back. Who knows?
Fingers crossed.
Well, it never went away, really.
For some. And there is, how about that? A Met fan here at Citi Field, or Chase Field, pardon me, catches the ball. And negotiations are underway. What's it going to take for me to get you into a signed bat? If you sign today, I can get you a signed bat and another signed ball.
Yeah, Wilmer Flores says he'll autograph a bat and a ball for that one. Yeah, I'd rather have David Wright's autograph.
Hold on, let me check with my manager. Let me make. Bribery. let's talk turkey. Oh, that's just a card. Just a card. It's typical. The Dodger fan jumps in and wants to, negotiate.
Catcher,
Hey, he may be the kid's agent. Hold on, let me check. Authenticate this whole thing for the moment.
Yeah, nicely done.
There you go. Good job. Get the picture, get the moment.
And get that guy behind you a new hat, for crying out loud.
Yeah, that doesn't look good. Anthony Recker now after Brown strikes out.
That ball carried a long way to the opposite field. We haven't really seen Flores flex his muscles in that direction. The balls he's hit hard in this series have been up the middle into left field, but man, that ball carried a long way.
Well, Terry Collins was asked, where's Flores going to eventually wind up defensively? And Collins was frank. He said, I don't think anybody knows yet. They've tried him at short, third, second. First base is still a possibility. Check out the Met fan here. Made a nice play in his big moment.
Oh, yeah, lefty. He had it all the way.
Sure did.
Nice play, young man.
Recker pops that one up shallow center. A.J. Pollock. Wilmer Flores, his first big league home run, makes it a 9-5 lead as we head to the bottom of the ninth at Chase Field. For the Mets, he'll work to Martin Prado, Paul Goldschmidt, and Aaron Hill, 2, 3, and 4 here in the Arizona ninth. LaTroy Hawkins on for the 53rd time this year. Saw LaTroy Hawkins work last night, got his third save, closed out the Mets' 4-1 win, and he's back out there in the ninth inning today.
Yeah, gave up a hit last night, recorded a couple of strikeouts in the ball game. Hawkins is one of those guys. He shows up on somebody's roster every year.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. Sometimes as a middle reliever, sometimes as a setup guy, occasionally slid into that closer's role as he is now with the Mets. Very reliable, stays healthy, throws strikes for the most part.
It's amazing the way some teams build bullpens like that, Bob. Hey, Tampa Bay is a team that comes to mind. Yes, they have a guy like Rodney, but they always sort of manufacture a bullpen, as you see Marlon Byrd take over in right field. And oftentimes guys like Hawkins are part of that building plan every year. And the Mets have had a lot of injuries in their bullpen. They've had to make do. Martin Prado leads off the ninth.
saw this last night from Hawkins as well. The quick pitch. That one, he just lifted his leg after getting the sign from Recker and fired the ball to home plate. Occasionally, he'll come up into a set position, a very definitive stop. Well, that's another quick pitch right into his delivery.
And right to the new guy. Marlon Byrd, 1 out. Here's Paul Goldschmidt.
Now there's the set position from Hawkins. More traditional delivery. Throws a strike one to Paul Goldschmidt. And in watching him last night and seeing him on some games on television this year, I don't think there's any rhyme or reason. It's not one specific pitch. It's not one particular hitter. But always, obviously, with nobody on base.
Goldie drives that to center. Lagares, 2 down. Now, I'm guessing that's something the catcher has to be ready for, or does he?
Well, you would like to think so. I mean, occasionally as a catcher, after you call the sign, it's not uncommon to take a peek at the third base and first base coach to make sure they're not relaying anything to the hitter. It's not uncommon to look up at the hitter to make sure he's not peeking. And if you do that on a LaTroy Hawkins quick pitch, he may throw it right by you.
Did it again there. There's a strike. Is it the type of thing you could signal in as the catcher?
You certainly can. Yeah, you can add all kinds of things. But I think once you know that that's part of his arsenal, you're ready for it.
Just on standby all the time?
Yeah, you don't look away. You understand that he could go into a traditional set and delivery, or he could give me the quick pitch. So once I give the sign, I'm ready for anything.
Do it. The Mets come into Chase Field and they take 2 of 3, 9-5 your final here. Each team with 11 hits, but the Mets put up that 4 spot in the first and in some ways never looked back.
Yeah, just too much too soon. Diamondbacks tried to claw back into the ball game, but then in that 7th inning the Mets were able to push across 3 more on the Andrew Brown homer, and that was kind of it for the ball game. Offense just wasn't there again today.
Well, they had 10 hits on Friday and won the game. 11 hits yesterday, lost, and 11 hits again and today. And once again, it's a defeat. They take 2 of 3. The Mets come in here, and now they'll head off to Los Angeles. The Diamondbacks stay home, and they'll welcome in the Baltimore Orioles for the first of 3 beginning tomorrow. It's a 9-5 Met win. Here's Cindy Brunson.
Thanks so much. Getting ready to get Diamondbacks live on the air. The post-game show set to start. LaTroy Hawkins just nailing down his 4th save of the season, his 2nd in as many days. That's just one of the talking points today. We'll let you know the very latest on Cody Ross and his injury and how that will impact the Diamondbacks the rest of the season. Diamondbacks Alive on Fox Sports Arizona, brought to you by Chaz Robertson CenturyLink after this.